Hello, this is Liz. Welcome to Fabric Friday. We are going through a heat wave here in where I live in the UK, and it's just unbearable. I keep coming up and doing bits and bobs, but I don't want to do much. But I'm quite enjoying myself getting these placemats ready, and they're chicken placemats, and I've done two of each, but they're facing one another. So I've done that colour, a brown one, a black one, and a white grey one. Now there's a total of 8 there. I also have another one here that's just bits left over, and I stuck them on so I can use this to try out different stitches, different layouts, a satin stitch or a zigzag or a blanket stitch around the chicken itself, and then do some pre-motion work in the feathers and round the feet and that, and put an iron. But I thought I'd show you what I did. I downloaded a picture off the internet, straight lines, well, not straight lines, but a line drawing of a chicken. I then got some of my tearaway stabilizer I use for my embroidery machine and traced it. And as you can see, there's my tracing. I obviously knew I'd be cutting the head apart because I'd be having the head's feathers different colour than the bodies, but I wanted the wings a different colour as well. So I cut out, oops, wrong way round. I cut out a wing piece so I could get my different fabrics, choose what colour I wanted. For the brown one, obviously I chose brown. On the back of it, I've got this, not sure what you call it, but you iron it with the paper side up, and you iron it to the fabric, and that gets the fabric stuck to this lining. And I'll find a piece, just a second. Yes. Once you've ironed this to your fabric at roughly the size that you want, I ironed it to the back of some black fabric. So now I took, say for instance, I was doing a black wing. I took that. Now if you want the wing to be the right way round as a picture, then you have to reverse it, because this is your top bit, so you have to reverse it. If you don't, if it doesn't bother you, then don't. But then I could draw round it, because this is paper, use a normal pencil, cut it out. So let's do that now. That's the general shape of it. And now you can cut out your wing, or whatever piece you're doing. I happen to be making these chickens. You can tell this is the paper side and that is your fabric side, and it's the wrong way round for this bird. No, it isn't. Yeah, it's the wrong way round for this bird. Let's get one the other way. So what I did then is get all the different pieces, the wing, the beak, its wattle and its crest, feet and the main body. I place them because you can take the paper off and you can see now the back of the fabric is like, looks like it's got glue on it, which it has. So I put the body down, position the feet where I wanted them, put the wing where I wanted it, tended to be underneath the headpiece, and then all the other pieces, and then once it's there exactly how you want it, press it in place. You have to look at your directions. It's anywhere between 5 and 10 seconds to hold your iron so that the glue sticks it to the fabric. Now this is not going to say you need to sew it down. Now you can hand sew it, you can machine sew it, you can do free motion quilting on it once it's on the quilt, but I'm going to stitch them on now and do, I'll see. I'm going to stitch them on at first, but to help give some more stability, especially to this back fabric, is probably use me tearaway stabilizer again and just put a piece on the back of it. You can use just normal paper. In fact, it would possibly be cheaper. Use not something to give it stability. I haven't got any paper up here, but I'll show you what I'm doing, because this one is my test piece, so I can figure out what size of stitches I want. So I'll bring you back in a minute. What I've actually done is just pinned a sheet of paper, one of those I printed off that I was thinking of using and then decided not to. It will be going in the bin, so it doesn't matter if it's used to help me with this. Now, because this is my one to test out the stitch size I want, I'm using colours that I'm definitely going to be able to see. So I've got white in the top, there's black in the bottom at the moment, but that doesn't matter. Now I want it on a zigzag. Shall I just have a normal zigzag, or, because you can decide, do I do a blanket stitch or what? I'm just doing a normal zigzag, but I'm going to have them fairly close together, the zigzags. So that looks like a half. And we'll just try, see if that's the width I want. And make sure where your fabric from your applique is in the edge of it is right next to the middle, so it'll zigzag either side. So let's try that. And I wasn't in the right position, so let's move it over And I also think those stitches are too wide. So let's lower it down a bit to number 2 and try again. I think those are a bit much, so 2.5. Actually, I do prefer the look of the 2. So let's try that again. Pointless zooming round the head part because it's white on white, so there's no way you'll see it. But there, whoops, I didn't go very well round the feathers, so I'll have to make sure on the actual ones that I do better. But it's going to be more of a matching thread. But yes, I do prefer the size that I've now got it at. So I don't forget, I'm going to write down width 2, length 1/2. And that will tell me how I'm going. So this is how I'm doing, and I'll possibly show you when I've done them all. So I've done my 8 chickens now. I've done 2 brown, and as you can see, they're still on the paper. This is one thing I have figured out. If I ever make this type of thing again, I'm going to take the paper off before I thread paint the little patterns on it, because I didn't do that and it is fiddly to take all the paper out. Or I'll use some wash away stabilizer, or even some line-on interfacing. I use the paper to give stability to it so it doesn't stretch out of the way. Well, it doesn't stretch a lot, but obviously those 4 have not had the paper removed, but these 4, that's a white one, another white one, they've had their paper removed. There's still little bits of it on. As you know, if you've made a paper pieced quilt, there's always little bits of paper still left on. So what I'm going to do when I've taken all the paper off that I can do by hand, I'm going to hand wash these, dry them, and that should help no end. but they're only little teeny bits that are left on anyway, so as they're washed they'll more or less disintegrate. But I just want to make this extra time for these. But that's what I'm doing at the moment, and then I'm going to sort out the plans I have made for the side of the placemats. So I'll possibly show you them in the next episode. But thank you.